got 6 updated Reddit stories for you guys today. Starting it off, what? With my partner left me, so I told everyone he doesn't have cancer. This sounds incredibly messy. It is also super long with updates, obviously. So stick around for that story, as well as 5 more juicy updated stories, such as me with my depressed colleague who has accused me of bullying him. And finally, the story that we're gonna end the video on: workplace wants to remove bell at the desk that aids my disability. We hate the corporate world, so that's what we're gonna end it on. We got some juicy stories today. Y'all already know the drill. Let's lock in here. My partner left me, so I told everyone he doesn't have cancer. This was originally posted in True Off My Chest. Original post, February 9th, 2025. My partner told me when we first got together that he has cancer, and if his operation doesn't go well, it could be terminal. He said his treatments have also made him infertile. So imagine our shock and joy when we found out I was expecting at the start of 2024. We now have a beautiful 5-month-old daughter who is perfectly healthy and thriving, and he is in remission. Y'all, I know it's like the first 2 sentences and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but like, is this like the most elaborate baby trap situation we've ever seen? My pregnancy was difficult and lonely because of all the intense treatments he went through while waiting for his operation. I did a lot on my own, knowing he desperately needed this to have the best chance possible of shrinking his tumor before having it removed, so we can have a long, happy life together as a family. He is currently living with his mom while he is in recovery, so that it takes the pressure off me caring for both him and our baby until he is well enough to move into our new home with us. He still comes to our house and we go to his mom's all the time, so our baby isn't missing him. And on Wednesdays, he has his daddy-daughter days where it's just the 2 of them to make sure they are bonding well, and he has the practice until he is well enough to care for her at home full time and give me a little break too. Last week, we had an attempted break-in at the house. Editor's note, OOP posted about it a few days ago, but it was deleted. I asked him to come over and stay here while I'm waiting for the locks to be changed because I'm scared, but he wouldn't. I was talking to his mom too, who slipped up telling me he wasn't home. Long story short, this is Reddit. I'm sure you can see where this is going. We argued for over 24 hours before my suspicions became too much, and I went to Facebook. It took me less than an hour to find the first 2 women. During my pregnancy, I was suspicious of a lot of things and put it all down to my hormones, as he would continuously tell me that I am paranoid and hurting him when I ask. One thing my paranoia just wouldn't let up about was his cancer and his treatments. I asked his mom about it, who told me he doesn't have cancer, but he is having treatments. He has an autoimmune disease, which he receives transfusions for. Very serious, but nowhere near terminal, and no operations required. She also informed me he was in rehab, not hospital. He was addicted to cocaine and was trying to recover for me and our baby. Hold the fucking phone. What is happening right now? So not only did he not have cancer, but also he's cheating on her. But also, you're having a baby with this man and you never bothered to check his Facebook? Hello? Like, you should have done this hour of due diligence before you popped a whole ass human being out of your vagine, bro. Did she say how long they've been dating? I need more info into this relationship. This is insane. I never mentioned to him that I knew. I assumed it was the embarrassment of wanting to get clean without me knowing so he could be a good partner and dad. I was so proud of him for getting that help that I never spoke about it. With his autoimmune disease, his mom explained how brutal it has been for him and that he did have chemo a few years back, so maybe that's why he's confused. Pregnancy brain is a real thing, or maybe I'm just too blindly in love because I accepted this and never questioned it again. So homegirl knew that he didn't actually have cancer and he was in rehab because he was a literal drug addict, and you were just fine with that. Speechless. I have no words. Like, don't get me wrong, this guy is bad. I'm also kind of like, girl, there were so many flags. The flags were not redder. And it's not like there was, oh, one here, oh, one way in the distance. These are glaring, honey. I get that it's hard to like admit that you have a problem, but lying that you have cancer and then accepting that lie and not only continuing your relationship with them, but then bringing a child into the equation? Damn, I thought it'd be messy, but I didn't know it was gonna be this messy, bro. After discovering the first 2 women, I sent my partner a message telling him to let his girlfriend know I'm asking after her and not to bother coming home anymore. I've had the locks changed from the break-in so he can't get in. He panicked and started begging me to answer the phone and let him come see me so he can explain everything. I started to see everything through clear eyes for the first time and realized how long he had been gaslighting me for and told him no. Realizing he couldn't get through to me and now aware I was trying to contact his girlfriend, he panicked and went to her instead. During that time, I found a photo she had shared of the two of them and shared it to my profile with the caption, "Can someone please ask this woman to contact me?" She instantly blocked me, but her sister got in touch with me instead. Apparently, the family has never trusted him and knew something was wrong. This affair is serious enough to have met the family. She says he has told her not to speak to me as I'm a deranged stalker he slept with once years ago and have been hunting him down trying to convince people my baby is his. Insane work. Y'all, I'm a yapper. Y'all know I'm never speechless, brain broken. What a story to start off with. I sent her a photo of the birth certificate and us in the hospital together to show her sister before he can lie to her anymore. During this, I am also messaging another woman who is furious at what he has done and is helping me with all the information she is aware of. She tells me he broke her heart by cheating on her without even knowing he was cheating on me too. So far, I have the current timeline. Chemo in March, a 19-year-old. Rehab in April to July, a woman of an appropriate age this time, but also cheating on her. August to now, his 20-year-old girlfriend. Wait, we don't even know the ages. All right, OP's not the best storyteller in the world, but by God, does she have a crazy story to tell. I then find out his emergency cancer medication that he had to leave for in the middle of labor was actually him leaving because my 2 failed epidurals had me screaming in agony, begging the doctors for help because I thought I was dying, while the emergency team rushed in to place extra monitors on our baby who was in distress. And all of that was a huge turn on for him. So he needed to go sleep with a 20-year-old before making it back just in time to kiss me before I went into emergency surgery. Oh, ew. Just fucking ew. This was Sunday. It is now Saturday the following week. I made a post on Facebook calling out my partner for his actions with photographs, medical notes, and evidence, and asking people to leave me alone on Tuesday after 48 hours of no sleep. Multiple calls to the crisis team, and a barrage of harassment from his friends and family who want to sue me for character defamation. If this was a regular affair, I'd lick my wounds and move on, but I have now learned I have been leaving my daughter alone with a drug addict who is not only claiming he doesn't know me or his daughter to others, but also is demanding custody rights of my daughter. Tens of women have now come forward who have also dated him during our relationship with no idea of me or each other. This is obviously really upsetting, but what upsets me the most is that I begin to notice a very worrying pattern. He has told every single one of these women that he has cancer and can't get them pregnant. Yo, I was right. It was totally a baby trap. That is, whoa. Is that like kind of technically like stealthing or some shit? Like telling someone you're infertile when you are fertile and like hitting it raw? That doesn't seem legal, chat. Guys, I've never wanted a story to be more fake than this one. If humans like this exist, I give up. It's definitely stealthing. It would be classified as R-word in a lot of places. Holy shit, that is... I said my labor and delivery was difficult. I was induced due to an infection I had. My GP had told me I had an STI, and although I understood and took the treatment and was induced, my madly in love pregnancy brain never accepted it as an STI until I went back this week and checked my hospital discharge notes, and it was there in big bold letters, sensitive, partner STI. It just keeps getting worse. It does not stop. Oh my God. He has been telling women that he has cancer and can't get them pregnant so they don't need protection, which led to an STI, which almost killed me and his daughter in labor. And he wasn't even there to be with us because he was sleeping with a young girl who also believes he has cancer. Talk about a sentence that just shouldn't exist on this planet. Did I accidentally open r/AmITheDevil? Because what the actual fuck am I reading right now? I want to go home. I want to go lay down and just never wake up. This is evil. I decided to let everyone know that he in fact does not have cancer by using a screenshot of his mom's messages, all the women he has slept with to make sure they take a pregnancy and STI test, and all his friends who he has been guilting for years over his condition, and also social services and the police for sexual endangerment. Ah, okay. I mean, not only that, but like, I feel like we could get him on more. Me and my daughter now have safeguarding in place for us from a local organization for women leaving abusive relationships, so I feel very safe to reveal the truth about him and make sure all of his partners are safe and informed, seeing as he couldn't uphold his legal obligation of declaring an STI. I guess his postpartum girlfriend will do it for him. I have also had contact from many of his old friends, band members, and ex-partners who have all gave me testimonies to use for the police and as backup for if his mom does in fact try to sue me. This man has been lying and manipulating women for over 9 years. So far, everyone is now aware of his lies, and I am waiting for my in-person meeting with the police. I can't imagine any updates from here, as it will only be a legal battle that probably can't be shared, but if anything else of interest comes to, I will make sure to write about it. Oh, also, my partner is a primary school teacher. I want to go home. This is insane. Let me sift through these comments because there's a lot, and I feel like there's a lot in there that I would like clarification. How long have they been dating? How old are they? Like, how the fuck did we get here? I need to know. So let me see what's going on here. To a removed comment, it's come to light this week that his ex-partners have been reporting him for years to no avail. His mom is on the school board and her best friend is his head teacher. I'm hoping with the added element of social services this time and an investigation into child endangerment for our daughter, they can't sweep it under the carpet any longer. Escalating the situation. We're in the UK. His complaints have been escalated to the LADO in the past, which is basically our version of what controls the school's judgment over any dangerous situations, but nothing happened. One of his exes have gave me all the details of their report to push that they ignored her, and it's escalated to this. What kind of shitty school board is hearing this from multiple women and isn't like, huh? Like, let's fire this fucking idiot. So someone asked what STI he passed to OOP, and OOP responded, "At the time, I refused further testing in denial and regret it so much. I was just given a course of antibiotics, and because my symptoms went, they left it at that for me. All I know is from the STI being untreated for so long, I ended up with strep group B, which is why I needed to be induced. So I was on an antibiotic drip when my waters were broken, so my baby would be safe. She's perfectly healthy and faced no issues, luckily. I think I've been lucky, and whatever it was must not have turned into an STD because my medical documents only say partner STI. We also haven't slept together for a very long time now after my surgery, so I know I'm at least safe now." Okay, so someone's asking about how he managed his time with a job, a baby, a girlfriend, a mother, and many lovers. OOP. He would disappear from time to time and switch his phone off a lot. Not living together was a huge help for him. He would tell me he needed set days and times, etc., as he can only work in routines for his recovery. Obviously, I can look back now and see that really, he just needed to know which girl was where and when. I've been told by multiple people now that he will often just don't turn up to work because he's on a bender or at a woman's house, and I was kept in the dark because his mom's best friend is the head teacher and would cover for him. Holy fucking shit, that was insane. This has got to be the most evil human being that I've ever seen. The flags could not have been redder. If the doctors are telling you you have an STI, you should probably trust them. Were the doctors just not going to be like, "So, hey, bestie, like, now that the baby's out and, like, you're safe, let's address this, because, like, this wasn't a typo. There's only one way that this happens usually." Just insane. As someone who's blind to red flags, I would like to think I would at least see this shit. That man must have been sending her to orgasm heaven with that STI infested dick, because there's no other excuse. The red flag was jumping in her face and she ignored it. This woman is the victim. No doubt in my mind. We gotta point out the fact that, like, honey, neon flashing sign, red flag. And I'm only acknowledging it for the sake of, like, if y'all are in this situation, please, for the love of God, see the red flags. Don't ignore them. Please, 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 please. Update in the comments, February 10th, 2025, next day around 9 hours later. I've spoken to the police this morning. There is nothing they can do unless they find the drugs on his person in the school. So nothing is stopping him snorting a line before he starts work as long as he takes nothing else with him. They've implied the loophole is that they catch him behind the wheel, and if some reported him driving on drugs, they could catch him that way. Okay, so this is my limited knowledge of cocaine. Isn't that something that doesn't last an entire school day, chat? Like, a real addict is gonna take it to school with him. Also, aren't there so many other charges we could arrest this guy for? Sexual endangerment. I feel like R-word, or at least stealthing, is a good case. Like, why are we focused on the drugs? Cocaine hits quick and the effects wear off quickly too. They could catch him. Like, it's very probable. They said they can confirm that multiple reports and investigations have begun before even my report, so they are unable to share share much information with me, even though his case involves me, but they told me it is imperative I apply for Claire's Law and have helped me with the application. Claire's Law, also known as the Domestic Violence Disclosure Scheme, is a police policy giving people the right to know if their current or ex-partner has any previous history of violence or abuse. It can take up to 10 days for my in-person meeting to provide my documents, and then it can take several weeks for the information to be shared with me. Knowing what I do already, I feel sick that they have told me how important it is for me to make this application. I can't believe in a few weeks, he's going to disgust me even further when I receive his police records. My only silver lining is that once I have the police reports on top of my medical reports, he doesn't stand a chance in family court, and me and my girl will be free to restart our lives together. Also, another little note, I've been looking for family court advice in a mom support group and have been informed that luckily, she's only 5 months old and any name changes can be made before 6 months with only one parent's consent, and the witnesses don't need to be his choice. So I will be removing his surname and his grand's name from her middle name for her to take my surname and not have any more ties to his family. I just want to put an apology here as well, as a lot of people have commented on my poor writing. I am a new mom who was lacking sleep even before any of this came to light. Everything I've wrote has basically been just a big vent for me. I know I am no novelist, but I still apologize if it's been difficult to read. Okay, some of OOP's extra comments. Commenter, you should also look into the Offenses Against the Person Act in 1861. If he knew he had an STI and spread it to you and others by telling you all not to use any kind of protection, that may be illegal. OOP, my health visitor made the exact same point. She said she would look into it for me and make the report on my behalf, as she has a legal obligation to report everything I said anyway. My worry is when speaking to the police today, they said without physical evidence, they can't really do much, and even if multiple women came forward with the exact same claim, it's still hearsay and can't be pursued. I've checked all my past messages and can't find anything in writing from him that can be used. So you're telling me if 10 girls are coming to the police and they're like, hey man, this guy, STI, giving it to other people and impregnating them by telling them he has cancer and can't impregnate them, you're telling me that's not enough evidence? Oh shit, maybe the UK is just as bad as the US. I didn't know this shit. Holy fuck. That is disgusting. That makes me angry. That is ridiculous. Commenter, I'd get a lawyer fast. I think there's a law against sharing private messages now, but I think you should be fine since the other women are consenting to their messages being used as evidence. That might be a loophole. Also, there's a Facebook group of women who post guys in their crime, so people know not to date these individuals, and since it's a closed group, that they are careful who they let in there. He won't be able to get in because they're really good at sniffing out a nosy dude and kicking them. So you might want to add that in there so others don't fall for his tricks. OOP, thank you for your concern and advice. I've shown my support worker what I've shared, and she said everything is above board. He's also already been named and shamed in a couple of groups by someone he was speaking to on a dating app after finding out about me. I've only shown my own information. I would never expose another woman, and no one has been named but me and my partner. In all honesty, the post was more to prove that we had been in a relationship and had a child more than anything, as he was getting his friends and family to harass me, saying he didn't know me and gaslit me so much I started to doubt the past year and a half myself. I only said what he had done to me and just mentioned that I was aware now that he had affairs. I've gone in much more detail here about things with the safety of being anonymous. I shared photos of us together, text messages of our boring lives, love you more, we need nappies, etc., and my medical records showing the STI. In the UK, it's only illegal to show other people's messages without consent, and the only ones I have are saved to be used in court, with the women who have sent me their consent if it comes to it. As I'm the one who had sent the messages I've shared and there's no defamation, my social worker thinks I'll be okay. This commenter hyped up OP and OOP responded with something kind of wholesome. I don't know why this was the comment that finally opened the floodgates for me, but thank you. I think they're happy tears. I spent the last few months building up our rundown little council house. I managed to get us to make it in our dream home, all while caring for our little girl and giving more love and support to him and his family than I've ever gave myself. She falls asleep at 12 to 1 a.m. and I work through the night decorating and building the furniture. I keep forgetting that I've just given birth. I haven't even recovered myself. He made me into a mouse of a person and so dependent on him that I haven't felt strong at all. I think now I can see through clear eyes and realize how many women I've managed to help so far and the work I'm putting into to protect the children at his school. I do feel more proud of myself and hope one day my baby girl will be proud of me too. It shouldn't take an event like this to like really get a woman to the level of hype that they should be, but you know what? Fuck it. We got there. That's all that matters. Someone accused OP of this being fake and OOP replied, I 100% understand why someone would think and say that, I completely admit I used a clickbait title. I've never wrote a post before, only read others, so just copied what I've seen online for the title hook. I wish the rest was fabricated, but sadly, it's actually very condensed to focus on his lies about cancer. I haven't even touched on details of the argument around the attempted break-in, which led to this. Why or how I found the other women on Facebook, or the argument with his new girlfriend and mom, which led me to discovering the extent she has been covering for him. I don't even dare to go in further details for people not believing the absolute shit show of the past week. I didn't even believe it myself. Yeah, we didn't even talk about how fucking crazy it is that the mom was like supporting his Genghis Khan seed spreading along with his STIs. Like, I don't know, maybe Genghis Khan was also spreading STIs. Actually, he probably was. Let's be fucking real. It's not like STIs were invented later on. Like, they probably existed back then too. I don't know, Chad. I'm not the STI expert. But like, what the fuck? Once again, we thank God for Kathy, because if I were pulling this fuck shit, Kathy would beat my ass. Like, as she should, bro. This shouldn't have happened. Like, the mother should have been absolutely berating him at this shit. After a C-section, she's making furniture. Even if he did have cancer, like, the mom should have been over there supporting. Somebody should have been there helping her out. Okay, guys. Oh, the man's out. The handsome man. Do you want the long body strokes? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Leon. Oh, shit. Sorry, buddy. Oh, no, I scared him. Ah! I'm sorry. No! No! He was gonna lay down on my mouse and be so cute, and I fucked it up. I scared him. He went to a safe place. Yeah, you eating that shit up, huh? Oh, big yawn. Can I boop you? Boop. Okay. Is this what you want? Okay. Honestly, we haven't had any big donors or gifters today, other than Brenda's $2. We had a membership sign up for Mickey. We had Ren who gifted 10 subs while I was off stream, so these are from you guys. Thank you guys. We'll give him 2 more just from chat, and because he's so sweet and so handsome, I think we should give him 2 more. Just for shits and gigs, you know? Yetta, thank you for the 5 gifted. And then Gabriel also donated £5 on the YouTube. Thank you. You know what? We will give him 2 more. Just from Gabriel. Just from Yetta. Update 2 in comments, February 12th, 2025. 2 days later, 3 from the original post. I have managed to provide enough evidence of drug use and emotional blackmail to the police to have a domestic abuse case open. This is going straight past the school to the highest authority to keep them away from children. This is huge news and gives me such a relief in knowing my child and others will be safe, but I still have that awful feeling of guilt for him. Just 2 weeks ago, we called each other bride and groom. Hold the fuck on. Did I miss something? Any point did she say that she was married to this guy? I don't think she did. Homegirl just casually dropped a fucking bomb that, oh yeah, by the way, we had our wedding 2 weeks ago. Just 2 weeks ago, we called each other bride and groom. I think it's going to take a while to grieve the person I thought I knew while dealing with the one I know now. I hope this is the point he actually goes to rehab instead of lying about it and can find happiness and restart his life. I don't think I want to make any more updates now. I am unbelievably grateful for the kind words and advice, but I originally just wrote this to get my emotions out of my head to help me sleep better. I know I used a clickbaity title, but I did not expect my post to blow up like this. Thank you all for helping and making my emotions feel validated in an absolute insane situation. Me and my little girl are going to be okay. Oh my God. Finding out he was in a feminist punk band is the perfect cherry on top. The fact that people like this exist in this world makes me so sad. This poor OP, bro. I hope this man goes to jail for the rest of his life. We need this man out of society for everybody's sake. That story took years off of my life. I'm gonna be thinking about that one laying in bed tonight. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck did we get into? Me with my depressed colleague who has accused me of bullying him. We have a 39 female OP and a 44 male depressed colleague. Original post, June 24th, 2017. I manage a team of 12 people, and last year I had a 13th member added when other managers refused to deal with him any longer. He is diagnosed with depression and generalized anxiety disorder. He is morbidly obese and suffers from musculoskeletal problems related to the obesity and diabetes. When they came to me, it was because I have helped other mentally ill staff members and was happy to take them on as I felt I could help them. We did make progress and steadily increase their level of work. It has never reached the level considered acceptable, but I made accommodations to relieve pressure. hoping this would lead to a sustained long-term improvement. I sought out equipment to help them be more physically comfortable given their obesity. I felt we were making progress. Unfortunately, they committed a serious breach of security, sent out personal information to someone not legally entitled to have it, and I had to place them on formal disciplinary action. Since then, they have been on sick leave for over 3 months. They are now subject to attendance management procedures and have reached out to a local mental health group and advised them that I have bullied and harassed them. This bullying and harassment has, according to them, made it impossible for them to return to work. I have documented evidence that this is not true. When they were told they needed to move away from me for health and safety reasons, they became very distressed and demanded to stay with me for mental health reasons. Hold on, so you're saying this person reported that you were bullying and harassing them, and then when you provided evidence and they were told to move away, then they started saying that they needed to stay with OP for mental health reasons? What? I have signed documentation where they state I am supportive and they don't want the reasonable accommodations I have offered. Shorter days, fewer days, longer breaks, etc. I have a meeting with them and their support workers from the mental health group, and I have no idea how to handle this. So how do I handle it? I can prove they are lying and they have a pattern of lying to get themselves out of trouble. I have no concerns about my bosses. Shit, you guys couldn't hear that, but he started playing with his toy. It just scared me because it makes chirping noises. That's what I heard behind me, and I was like, what the fuck? So how do I handle it? I can prove they are lying and they have a pattern of lying to get themselves out of trouble. I have no concerns about my bosses because they are well aware that this is an utterly unfounded allegation. My worry is that they are completely unsuited to the job, and because they point blank refuse to acknowledge they are in any way responsible for the mistakes they are making, it is impossible to correct them. I love that OP has been willing to like work with them through their mental health issues because like everybody's got it and everyone needs support at some point in time. I truly believe that, but it feels like he's weaponizing his mental health. He's using that as like a counter to the fact that he fucked up, and he won't take personal responsibility for the fact that he fucked up. He shouldn't be sending personal information out. Like they tried to accommodate him, he fucked up, and now he's using the thing that they were trying to accommodate for to like hurt somebody else's career. Even if you can't fire someone for that, to me it's just uncomfortable having him there, not only for everybody around him, but also for him. Can you like respectfully like ask somebody to leave? I think they should figure out how to get this dude out. Obviously I have like no corporate world experience. No matter your level of mental health, I just truly think that's unacceptable. They're probably trying to be careful so they don't get a lawsuit. I mean, bruh, sent out personal information to someone not legally entitled to have it. I think that's a good enough reason. Depending on the contract, company termination procedures may mandate a PIP, personal improvement plan. I mean, maybe it wasn't official, but it sounds like they implemented some sort of PIP. Dude, it sucks that you have those mental health issues, but like you can't weaponize them. You can't use them to cover up when you fucked up. If you fucked up because of your mental health stuff, go get help for that. Couple of relevant comments here. When told to go to HR, OOP, I have spoken with our internal HR, but they are terrified that any accusations of bullying a person with mental health problems could be problematic, as it is a hot topic at present. I have referred the person for counseling internally, and they have told me repeatedly, documented, that they have taken up this service. My concern is this meeting is not an internal meeting. It is with people who specifically represent people with mental health problems, and I don't know how to respectfully say that the person is lying through their teeth without sounding like a bully. To be clear, their lies aren't malicious, and I don't believe this one is either. It is something said to solve an immediate need. So in this case, it is because they need to explain the amount of time they have had off sick, and admitting it is because of their own actions is too terrifying. So I am being bullied means it's something that is happening to them and they have no control over it. The reality is they do have control over it, but they are so used to being the victim in all situations that they refuse to acknowledge this is not actually true. I'm confused what obligation OP has to go to this thing. Even if they did sue the company, it's not your problem. It's the company's problem. And also you have documentation that's like, this person is just lazy. Commodore Hugo and Kim responded to that saying, judging from your explanation here, it appears that you have an understanding and empathetic attitude attitude towards this person and situation. That attitude, along with the documentation you have regarding accommodations you've offered, should go a long way in your defense. What exactly is he saying you've done to bully him? I am not a professional in this area, but have extensive experience working with people with mental health problems in social work/education settings. OOP, he believes that by pointing out his security breach and substandard level of work, I have bullied him. He doesn't allege that he isn't doing this, just that by expecting more, I am bullying and harassing him. I am making allowances. For example, other members of staff are expected to deal with approximately 16 cases a day accurately. I am happy for him to do 2 if he does them right. Unfortunately, he can do 2 cases, but not correctly. Unfortunately, by allowing him to work at a slower pace, he believes that he should be allowed the same scope of error that someone who is working 16 cases has. And such, he is being bullied by expecting him to get his 2 cases 100% right, when someone who is working 16 cases has an allowance for minor errors. It doesn't get more accommodating than that. OOP explains HR more. Yeah, HR's response is basically fire him, but don't leave us open to a lawsuit. It is not helpful because I don't want to fire him. He is not currently in a position to do his job to the standard required, but I don't want to detrimentally impact his future. He won't resign for health reasons as he feels it will prevent him from getting another job, and HR wants him gone without actually doing anything. I'm stuck in the middle because as manipulative as his mental health issues are, they are real. Maybe this is really shallow of me to say, but like at a certain point, you gotta watch out for yourself. Like at the end of the day, this is also your team and your job, and if this man is severely underperforming and like ruining your ability to perform your job well, bro, you gotta watch your own back. Like you gotta fire this guy. You did your best. You did as much as you could, and this man is making your life worse. Even if this somehow gets resolved, do you still want to work with this man and him potentially have another situation or issue like this? Or like, God forbid, not even be able to do his job correctly and get those 2 cases 100% correct. I love OP's empathy, but at a certain point, you gotta be like, holy shit, I gotta take care of myself. OP also put in here, if I wouldn't get fired for doing it, I'd post a copy of the 4-page email I got in response to my specific questions. It was large swaths of the DDA copied and pasted with vague remarks about support, reasonable allowances, and work-life balance. I can only assume they put someone's idiot nephew in charge of the email box on the day I contacted them. They are centralized and are notorious for not giving out specific instructions for fear of having them challenged. Their main purpose is to protect themselves. I have no idea how they keep their jobs, to be honest. Last comment from OOP. Thank you. His previous warnings have been well documented and evidenced, so I am not too concerned about legal action. I was just really thrown by the accusation of bullying and harassment and had built up a scenario where I was going to be attacked by his advocates. The great responses like yours have put my mind at ease. It is sad that he has cast himself as the victim in all this, but I am determined not to be drawn into that mindset, and I won't allow myself to cast into the role of their oppressor because it is simply not true. I heard a quote the other day. It was like, it's not your fault, but it is your problem kind of thing. I love when people are accommodating or supportive. Like, obviously, I think that should be how it is if you have mental health issues, but at the end of the day, like, you can't use that as like an excuse or even like a weapon to not be able to do your job. OP is giving them as much leeway as they possibly can without this man literally just walking in, sitting there doing nothing all day and collecting a paycheck. We have an update, September 18th, 2017, 3 months later. Well, the meeting went ahead as planned, and thanks to the wonderful advice and tips from people who kindly responded, I was calm and thought I was prepared. Boy, was I wrong. My colleague and his support worker were both there, and the meeting started really well. I asked how he was doing, what steps he was taking to prepare himself to return to work, etc., and nothing unexpected came up. As arranged, I brought up the allegations of bullying and asked for some specific examples to help me understand what was happening. After worrying myself sick about this, his answer was actually pretty disappointing. He gave no examples and only offered vague explanations about his anxiety making him overreact to other people's conversations, which made him feel like he was being picked on. I advised him, and my boss backed me up, that there was literally nothing I could do about that. I patiently explained that I could not ban people from talking, and I would not sit in silence in order to ensure he never heard anything he didn't like. My boss stressed that his poor performance needed to be addressed, and that was part of my job, and that doing it was in no way harassment. His support worker did agree with that, and we had a brief chat about how I could better communicate. To be honest, there was nothing they said that was particularly helpful, but I did agree to be mindful of their condition moving forward. Then it got weird. I asked if there was anything I could do to help him transition back into work. This normally involves a phased return, changing to part-time hours, etc. but not this time. As I was talking, he started taking paperwork out of a folder, and I should have realized something was up when his support worker sighed deeply and slumped down in his chair. My colleague requested that he be allowed to bring an emotional support animal to work with him, namely a support cat. I love my fluffy little idiot. That's my man. He emotionally supports me. Here in my apartment, I would never bring Beans anywhere. If I had a job where I had to go into the office, like, I would not want to bring him with me. You gotta bring a whole ass litter box. You gotta bring food. I feel like cats in general are more assholes and like distracting. That's a little ridiculous. I can't even lie. We are in the UK and this is not the norm, so I was a bit surprised. He had not settled on a breed yet, but was torn between an Abyssinian or a Siamese. This bitch isn't even gonna adopt, not shop. You can't be like, oh, emotional support cat, and I'm gonna buy into the unethical breeding. Like, pfft. I thought pointing out some obvious difficulties with this idea might make him realize how inappropriate this would be. For example, I pointed out we have a guide dog in the building for a partially sighted colleague. His name is Rufus and is by far the most popular person in the building. The dog, not the human. And they may not get along with a cat. He responded by telling me that it was illegal to discriminate by favoring one disability over another, and if a blind person could have a guide dog, a depressed person could have a cat. Oh, fucking no. I fear he could potentially be eating, but like in a bad way. Like, he's probably right, but this is a very bad idea. I moved on from this clearly idiotic point and asked how a cat would react to being placed in a pet carrier twice a day to travel to and from work. He advised me he would train the cat. My boss became very agitated at this point, demanding, how the hell do you train a cat? Not to be deterred, my colleague stated that in the worst case scenario, he would leave the cat at work overnight and only take him home on the weekends. Not only the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, also just mean to the cat. You're just gonna leave bro there by himself? Like, oh, there's no way this could go wrong. I asked how he intended to cope with litter tray cleaning, etc. Given his serious weight issues, bending down to empty a litter tray would be difficult for him. He presented me with a spreadsheet he had created with a team rota for cleaning up after the cat and feeding. This guy has put more work into providing evidence for this cat than he has in his entire job, and that to me is a problem. Oh, let me get an emotional support cat, but make it everybody else's fucking problem. I would get sued, but I would fire him. He had also costed out food, insurance, and the actual cost of the cat on said spreadsheet, had an expected donation from each team member on a sliding scale depending on how he perceived their financial circumstances to be. I was paying the most as I am single, earn more, and have no dependent children. The spreadsheet was quite impressive, color-coded and everything. I politely said no to that, and he then started insisting the company should pay as it would be a legitimate business expense to accommodate his disabilities. At this point, I realized my boss was still repeating, how the hell do you train a cat? And the support worker was shaking his head and muttering, I told you not to do this. So I made a unilateral decision on behalf of my company and advised him in no certain terms that we would not be buying any cats. We would not be cleaning up after any cats because we would not be permitting him to bring any cats onto the premises. Thank God, bro needed to hear it. Put your whole dick on the table. He was not happy. He complained that I was making it impossible for him to return to work. My boss took a break from his cat training mantra to say that we had perhaps gone as far as we could for the time being, and we should end the meeting at this point. As we were leaving, he did make a point of telling the support worker there will be no bloody cats. The support worker nodded and agreed this was entirely fair. Dude, if the guy who came to advocate for you is like, yeah, this guy's fucking crazy, shut the actual fuck up. Put the cat spreadsheet away. If the guy who's supposed to be on your side pretty much no matter what isn't on your side, red flag. I didn't hear anything from him for a week or so, then received another 4-week sick note from him, so I called as per our company procedure to check in and see how he was doing. He was still very unhappy about my discriminatory anti-cat stance and advised he would be taking it further. 2 weeks later, I received a letter from what initially looked like a local solicitor's office. It advised me I was being sued for breaking disability discrimination laws. The letter itself was filled with bizarre, mainly American legalese that seemed to be culled from Law and Order episodes. On closer examination, the letterhead said had been edited to change the contact details to his home phone number and personal mobile. I'm not sure whose address he used, but it wasn't the solicitors in question. I handed it to my boss, who also received one, so both were forwarded to our legal department. I was advised to have no further contact with him. The legal bods have informed me that his contract has been terminated with immediate effect. I am honestly stunned as to how it turned out. I half expected him to be terminated due to the amount of time off sick and his unwillingness to address his performance issues, but I would have never guessed it would end like this. It is both funny and sad. Thank you so much to everyone who took the time to calm my nerves before the meeting. It really did mean the world to me. I don't know how it be in the UK, but like, isn't this impersonation? What was bro trying to do there? Not from the UK, but I lived there briefly, can also confirm that's illegal. For OP, this is perfect because that just means that this dude basically shot himself in the foot. Even if he maybe had some sort of legal something backing him up, which he shouldn't. But now I feel like he's completely shot himself in the foot. Like there's too much here for him to still be able to sue and not suffer consequences. Kid's birthday party. Is this normal or am I being entitled? Originally posted to r/parenting on April 13th, 2019. Earlier today, I went to a birthday party for my daughter's 6th friend from school. The party was being held at Build-A-Bear, but it wasn't run by the employees. We had cake and pizza in the food court, then went down to Build-A-Bear to make bears, then back to the friend's house for the rest of the party. The invitation said each kid, about 8 total, would get to make a bear, and I just assumed they would get to take them home since that is what happened at another Build-A-Bear party I went to. Me and my husband even pitched in about $30 as we know these things can get expensive. We get to the store and the kids go wild getting their animals and accessories. As far as I know, the parents didn't really put a limit, but I made my daughter stick to just a standard dog with a shirt, which about half the parents did as well. All is well. We leave the store. Then friend's mom announces that the kids need to give all their animals to her daughter. Cue the upset and angry kids. They all disappointingly hand over their animals, and the friend wasn't even being nice about it either. Another little boy didn't want to, and the friend ripped it out of his hands. I probably should have said something, but I didn't. The other parents seemed pretty baffled too. We get back to the friend's house, and our kids are watching as the friend plays with all of her new animals. I left with my daughter pretty quickly, and once we got back into the car, she just started bawling. I felt bad, so we went to Build-A-Bear and got her a new one. I'm just wondering if this is totally normal, and I should have expected this, or am I being an entitled parent? No, you're not entitled. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Talk about raising a kid to be the most selfish, narcissistic piece of shit on this entire planet. That makes me incredibly sad. Like, that's not even the kid's fault. The parent is literally raising them to be the most awful human being on the planet. Did she outsource in child labor Build-A-Bears for her daughter? Not clickbait. If I'm OP, I'm like, you are never hanging out with this friend. Honestly, someone needs to tell those parents, bro. Someone needs to call those parents up and be like, that is the most diabolical shit that I've ever experienced in my entire life. The audacity, the absolute evil act of taking a child's Build-A-Bear creation and forcing them to give it to their daughter because it's their birthday. No way. But if anybody's sitting here like, no, that's normal. Girl, you need help. Why aren't your kids playing with mine? Those parents after this probably. If I'm OP, I'm turning this into like a learning experience for my daughter. I'm like, yo, that shit, not normal. Not okay either. The only entitled person here is the other parent. No, like I wouldn't even blame the kid here, bro. This is all the parent. Someone needs to talk to them and be like, dog, what the fuck? Is the birthday kid even really friends with the other kids? Because it doesn't really feel like it. When I was 6, my best friend was a kid who lived a couple houses down from me. And when you're that age, I feel like it's like a friends by proximity thing. That kid was down the street from me. His mom met my mom and they were like, oh, our kids are the same age. They can go fuck off and play GameCube together and we can hang out and drink. So I feel like friend is kind of a loose term when you're that young. Oh shit, you guys, I forgot to turn off my music. No! Guys, I always do this. Honestly, I blame you, chat. Y'all can hear the music. I need to have this headphone on to be able to hear the music or whatever. So I blame you guys, low key. Y'all should have let me know earlier. This is on you guys. Yeah. Shrimpy McWaddles, did you buy a present for their kid? I'd honestly consider reaching out to the mom and asking for the money back since your daughter didn't get to keep the bear. You intended to pay because you figured your daughter would be keeping the animal. Depends on how much the $30 and making a point is worth to you because this is bound to start some drama. I feel bad for the kid though because no one is going to want to come to their birthday anymore. I wouldn't ask for the present back, but I definitely call them and be like, yo, this is not proper birthday etiquette. This made your child look bad, but this is also your fault. OOP, yes, we did get her a present. I talked to one of the other moms whose child was at the party and she was really upset when her kid came home without a bear. She said she will try talking to her about it at school Monday. Someone asked if they gave any prior warning that they'd have to give the bears to the kid. OOP, nope. To my understanding, the little girl told her friends that they would get to keep their bears. At first, I thought maybe the birthday girl didn't know she would be given all of them, but judging by her attitude, maybe she did. This commenter is asking, this must sound bad, but are they weird or off in any other ways? Are they foreign or extremely poor or just super snobby, clueless, rich people? This just seems so beyond the range of normal, especially if they didn't pick up on the social cues of the parents and kids being horrified by their expectations. OOP, they're big people in the community, always volunteering. They are pretty rich and do seem a little snobby and better than everyone else. I feel like that's good to know. Kind of paints the picture better of these people. This is just specifying that they didn't book this party through Build-A-Bear. It was like, we're gonna go to Build-A-Bear as a group and do this activity. Update. This afternoon at school pickup, me and another parent had a chance to talk with the mom of the party. It wasn't a long conversation, but I'll do my best to reenact it here. Mom's fake name will be Karen. Insert awkward small talk here. Karen, I hope the girls enjoyed daughter's party the other day. I know daughter had lots of fun. The other mom. Haha, yeah. I was actually wondering about the whole daughter getting all the bears thing. The kids seemed pretty upset afterwards. Karen. Oh yeah, we wanted daughter to have a special animal decorated by each of her friends. Me. Oh, okay. I was just wondering why the kids didn't get to keep their bears. I even pitched in a little bit of money, assuming the bears would go to the kids. Karen. Well, I didn't have enough money for each of the guests to make their own. That would get pretty expensive. If you want your money back, I'll see about getting it back to you. I don't really see the problem though. We wanted daughter to have a special animal decorated by each of her friends. Followed up with, we didn't have enough money for each of the guests to make their own. Is she saying like they didn't have enough money for the kids to make a Build-A-Bear for her daughter and for themselves? Me. Okay, well, the kids were forced to give away their new creations. Obviously, they are going to be upset about it. I also don't see why your daughter needs all these animals. Karen didn't respond and walked away right after, probably offended. What bothers me is she said didn't have enough money for all the kids to have one, but she did have enough for her daughter to get like 8 bears. Just doesn't really make sense. Now, I admit I'm not the most confrontational person, so I probably should have talked to her more about it. Anyways, I guess we sort of worked it out. No one's fighting, so I'm not sure I'm going to mention it to her again. Sorry this wasn't the most satisfying ending, but thanks for all the love and support. It means a lot. I've never built a Build-A-Bear. Would it be normal for someone to build a bear for someone else? Like, I could see it being like, okay, I'm gonna build a bear for my girlfriend because that's cute, but like, I can't imagine going to Build-A-Bear as a kid and like, oh, you're gonna build this bear for your friend's birthday. OP is a doormat. Baby, stand up for yourself. I mean, I'm glad they tried to confront, but I feel like the confrontation was too passive. It was too like tiptoeing around the subject while trying to bring it up a little bit. Here is the thing, bro. We wanted the daughter to have a special animal decorated by each of her friends. At the end of the day, they're paying for it. It's their kids' party. I've always said, if you're gonna throw an event, it can be as ridiculous as you want to make it if like you're paying for it, right? That was my whole premise behind that girl doing the whole like my family and best friends are in white, everybody else is in black and I'm wearing red. That story, my whole premise was kind of like, if it's your event, bro, I don't see a problem. Just expect other people to maybe judge that. That's kind of how I'm feeling here too. But the problem I have is it doesn't seem like this was communicated to anybody. It's not like this Karen was like, oh, hey, you kids are gonna go make a Build-A-Bear, then that Build-A-Bear is going to be for my daughter. It sounds like the expectation going in was everybody is gonna make their own own Build-A-Bear and then they surprise shoddied the kids afterwards. If I'm a parent and I'm like, oh, my kid's gonna make your kid a Build-A-Bear for their birthday, I'd be like, maybe my kid shouldn't go. This is a weird fucking story. I can't decide if it's like miscommunication or if genuinely like this Karen gets like some sick pleasure by scamming kids out of a Build-A-Bear, you know? They never talk to the parents beforehand and just assume that they'll get a bear afterwards. Exactly. Like they didn't expectation set of what the party would be. Worst part is I know damn well those kids got attached to those Build-A-Bears and they were making them, so to rip it out of their hands afterwards is sad. I just can't believe there's human beings out there that would be woefully unaware that this was what happened. Like even if you accidentally didn't communicate that, you would pick up on the fact that these kids are upset and then apologize or make amends or, you know, do whatever. Like if it was actually an accident, I feel like there would be a different course of action here. I think this is almost like a power trip thing. It feels like they did this on purpose and they're trying to like teach their daughter to like scam the fuck out of people. Anna, I feel like all those kids were enemies of the party girl and they purposely invited them to do this. Enemies at 6 years old though? Did y'all have ops at 6 years old like that? I know I didn't. I did not have ops at the age of 6, but maybe you're right. That'd be the most devious 6-year-old in the world, bro. My coworker won't stop telling me that I smell. Original post, April 11th, 2017. I enjoy wearing perfume, but tend to stick to indie oil scents since the smell tends to stick closer to my skin. So in theory, I don't bother my coworkers, and also because I seem to be sensitive to the alcohol that a lot of spray perfumes use. I also tend to use unscented deodorant and laundry detergent. I really dislike how chemically scented products like this tend to be. About a month ago, one of my coworkers told me that the perfume I was wearing bothered her. I work closely with her, so I immediately apologized and washed it off, and haven't worn any of my perfume since. I don't have a huge wardrobe, so most, if not all, of my office appropriate clothes have been washed since then. So I'm pretty sure that there are no lingering traces hanging on. My problem is that this coworker is now complaining constantly about the perfume I'm not wearing. She even went to my manager, who pulled me aside and asked me about things like deodorant and bath products. I've tried to explain to my coworker that basically nothing I use is scented anymore, but she makes exaggerated sniffing noises and says things like, oh, patchouli again, when I get near her. Again, I am not wearing any perfume. My deodorant is unscented. I shower every morning and my body wash is lightly lemon scented and doesn't stick around. It's reached the point where it feels like juvenile bullying, and I honestly don't know what to do. Y'all know my limited experience with the corporate world. Is it bad that my brain, like if this is me, my instinct is to fight fire with fire? She says, oh, patchouli again? I go, I'm not wearing patchouli. Are you bullying me? Do you just not like me? There's no patchouli on me. Hey, you over there, come smell me. Do I smell like patchouli? Like I'd start fucking putting this person in uncomfortable situations, and then I would be going to HR. I'd be going to the manager and being like, she keeps telling me I smell bad. I wear unscented everything and stop putting on perfume just for this person. They're still saying I smell bad. I think it's bullying. Please tell them to stop. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if that's like a bad thing to do. I don't know if like in the corporate world, it's not a good thing to fight fire with fire, but being passive doesn't seem like the right move to me. And therefore, I think the answer is be active about it. Go to HR. This is a hostile work environment. This is definitely hostile. And at this point, you've done everything that you can. You played defense. Now I think it's time for offense. I'm kind of torn on this one, not gonna lie. I'm really sensitive to smells. Okay, but it sounds like those smells aren't there. Patchouli is hard to get out of clothes. So maybe she does smell like it. I'll amend what I said. I think you really need to double check that you don't smell the way that this person is saying you smell. Do I think that this person is maybe going overboard? Yes, but like I've been hypersensitive to a smell and gotten very overstimulated by it. So like, I get it. They shouldn't be acting like an asshole, but like I understand why they might go against their better judgment and act like an asshole. So before you go on the offensive, go up to your other coworkers, go to some of your friends, be like, please sniff the fuck out of me and tell me for real, am I stinky? Do I smell like patchouli? If they say no, I say go on the offensive. Final answer. I was going to say using smells against others can be racist. That's what went to my head, Fox in the Garden, is there is a potential for this. We don't know OP's race or ethnicity or anything like that. Update, December 13th, 2017. So this is actually hilarious. After posting to Reddit, I decided to try one final de-smellification and see what happened. I found a relatively cheap, unscented body wash, and since the weather had finally turned hot for the summer, I got my summer clothes out of storage. I don't wear any of my heavy scents in the summer, so none of those clothes have been touched by the foul scourge that apparently is patchouli. All my coats, gloves, scarves, etc. went into storage. Oh, they're just updating really late, I'm guessing, because this is from April 11th. Update isn't until December 13th. It's been a while since they've updated it or whatever. Okay, I was like, girl, it is not summer. Monday, I go into work wearing summer clothes. Coworker makes a comment. I go into my manager's, who is fortunately a super chill lady, office and ask her to smell me. She knows what's going on with coworker and agrees, gets very close, sniffs, confirms that I am almost creepily unscented. Her words. Tuesday, coworker says something again. I ask another coworker who didn't know what was going on if she will sniff my cube. Thank goodness all this happened during a slow week. In front of a coworker, she walks around my cube, sniffing my chair and desk. Coworker looks embarrassed. I'm guessing the coworker that looks embarrassed here is the one that's making the accusations of smelly OP. Wednesday, coworker says something again. I lose my patience and tell her, look, coworker, you are clearly the only one smelling anything in this cube. Maybe you should go to the doctor and get checked for a brain tumor or something. Maybe you're pregnant. Coworker doesn't respond, and so I look up to find her looking absolutely stunned, like the world could have exploded right then, and I doubt she would have noticed. She's super distracted the rest of the day. Thursday, coworker calls in sick. Friday, I wake up to a $50 gift card for my favorite indie shop in my email. I come in and coworker literally hugs me. Turns out she's pregnant. Apparently she and her partner have been trying for a while and it finally took. And sometimes pregnant women just develop insane senses of smell. I didn't even actually know that. One of the commenters here suggested it and I was just so irritated that I threw it out there without thinking. Oh damn, she growing a whole fetus. All right. The weird thing is that she swears she does actually smell something. I believe her, but have literally no idea what it could be. She was just being kind of a jerk with the sniffing thing. Even though she could smell it, it doesn't bother her. And she said she thought it was funny to watch me freak out. Wait a minute, you were just enjoying bullying her? What an insane, like, whiplash. Oh, she's pregnant. Okay. But I'm actually still a bad person. Manager has talked to her about not taunting the coworkers. Right now, she's so overjoyed that I don't think she could be mean to anyone. But I guess we'll see what happens after about month 5 or 6. Anyway, thank you for your advice and the helpful comments on your site. I don't know how to feel. It like ended fine, but like still it was like, oh yeah, she's pregnant. Thanks for helping me realize that. But I'm still an asshole. I was doing this for fun. I just wanted to tell you that you smelled bad because I wanted to see you freak out. What a weird ending. What a weird person. That's so funny when some fuck shit is happening in your office to a point where people are literally sniffing you and your cubicle. Imagine someone just walking around my desk right now fucking sniffing me and my area. I probably smell stinky though. My best friend is broke. I've been offering him a job in the restaurant I work for months. And today he confessed he doesn't want to be a server because it's low and people would lose respect for him. I'm deeply offended. We have a male 31 OP, a male 33 best friend. This was originally posted in r/relationship advice. Original post, November 23rd, 2018. This happened just before. My friend is broke. He hasn't worked in over a year. He's running out of savings and has even had to ask his parents to support him. I asked him many times why doesn't he try to get a job that's not in his field. He's got a computer science degree, but has never worked in the field a single day in his life since graduating. He's turned down lots of jobs because reasons: they don't pay him enough, they won't give him a higher up position right off the bat, etc. I'm well aware he's deluded in that sense, but he has many other good qualities, and that's why I love the guy. So since graduating, the only job he's done is share marketing. Something like online investing in Forex. Ah, okay. He's a Forex guy, okay. He's fallen down that get rich quick scheme. He said he made about $20 a day and that it was enough for him. He's single, lives in a shared house, and doesn't spend much. Whatever makes him happy, right? I don't know who needs to hear this, but $600 a month, that's a side hustle, bro. Listen, if you're gonna make $20 a day doing something, like, go for it. But maybe get a job that has a little bit more money and potential in it, you know? The thing is, he's totally broke. I don't think he really is making even $20 a day on the shares because he's run out of money. He's stressed out and won't stop complaining about money problems. This is confusing for me, and I think it comes down to his pride not allowing him to get a job that's not fit for his ego. Now, I work as a server in a very nice restaurant and have offered him a job as a server many, many times. I have a great relationship with my boss, and after telling him my friend's situation, he didn't hesitate to say he wanted to help and would like to offer him a full-time job. My friend has been turning it down for months, not really giving much of an explanation. Today, he called me saying his parents have cut him off and asked to borrow money from me. I said that as a personal rule, I do not lend money to people, but that he was welcome to start working tomorrow with me. He again turned down the offer, and I got a bit frustrated because I'm offering him a solution to his money problem, but he won't accept it. So we got into a bit of a banter, and he finally confessed he thinks being a server is low and doesn't get you people's respect. I told him respect is earned by getting off your ass and doing whatever you have to make ends meet. No, exactly. You got cut off by your parents for falling down a pyramid scheme. Nothing will lose respect harder than falling into the 4X rabbit hole. I don't know who needs to hear this, but that shit, all a pyramid scheme. That shit is fake as fuck. Nobody's making real money from it. I'm sorry. Bro, I respect a server way harder than some idiot who fell for the, I made $10,000 today off of 1 hour of work from my phone. Like, if you believe that, you deserve anything and everything that's coming to you. I asked him if he thinks I'm low, and he backpedaled, saying he didn't mean I in particular was low, but the job itself was. He then straight out told me nobody can respect me working as a waiter in my 30s. Wow. To be honest, I'm pretty upset. He thinks I am low for working as a server. I got a degree too, but I couldn't find a job in my field, so I had to take the first job I could. I'm not some prissy prick thinking I'm too good to serve others. I take pride in being a waiter and doing a great job. I'm so hurt by his comments. Why is he my friend if he thinks I'm low? You can actually make like decent money as a server, especially if you're in a nice ass restaurant. Like, sheesh. Still better than not having a job. Like, bro probably makes 600 in a week. You make 600 in a month, allegedly. Shut the fuck up. I didn't want to say something nasty or get into an argument with him, so I only told him he was being very offensive, and I felt like he needed time to think about what he said to me. He replied saying there was nothing to think about, then gave me a list of low jobs like street sweeper, cleaner, etc., and said it's a fact those are low, not respected jobs. I asked him to apologize before this snowballed into a full-blown argument, and he said he stood by what he said. I don't want to overreact, but I don't know if we can keep being friends after this. I really don't know what to do. I don't want to badmouth him, but he should examine his life and learn empathy. I'm a very easygoing and forgiving person, but what he said hurt me and was idiotic. The man who refuses to work calling me low. I don't know what to do. Snip, 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 chop, chop, chop. Fuck him. Dude, this is like the biggest ick. I would immediately drop him. There is no world where you want to be friends with somebody like this. Even if you weren't a server and he was calling your job low, you don't want to be friends with anybody who thinks that a serving job is low. First off, I'd take a serving job. I'd take any job over not having a job. This dude is a lazy piece of shit who fell for a get-rich-quick pyramid scheme. This man gets the lowest totem of respect that I have possible. OP works hard, paying his bills, contributing to society. OP's friend, fucking moron. Lazy piece of shit, not contributing to society. My therapist has a second job as a server. Bro, it's probably the easiest like side hustle job. If you do it right, you don't really have to pay that much taxes on tips. Just saying. Like, I have plenty of friends who have full-time jobs but want to make extra money because they're saving up for like a down payment on a house or something like that, and so they get server jobs. It's smart. Good way to make money. I respect the hustle. Couple top comments here. This commenter said, honestly, be happy he didn't take the job because with that attitude, he wouldn't have lasted long and tarnished your rep with it. There's no way this guy has good work ethic. Update, November 24th, 2018, the next day. In an interesting turn of events, he called me today and said he'd thought it through and had decided he's willing to accept the job only with one condition, as if he was the one doing me the favor, that he's to be made manager right off the bat, and that he should move in with me so that I can drive him to work because the bus from his house to my workplace takes 35 minutes, and that's over an hour of commuting a day. I would simply hang up and block him. The audacity. Manager, and you have to do me extra favors. He then suggested I move my youngest daughter into my eldest daughter's room so that that's an empty bedroom for him in my house. So he basically had given this some thought. I was dumbfounded. The sense of entitlement and the level of pride you gotta have to make those demands is astonishing. I know he's never had a proper job, but he's not stupid. He has to know you can't be made manager if you don't even know the names of their dishes or how to serve a coffee. It's all about his pride. He's got a bigger ego than I thought. He can't be humble enough to accept a waiter job and work things out from there. He needs to be made manager so that it won't hurt his pride as much. To be honest, I was so out of words. I said I don't want to talk and hanged up. I can't explain how off-putting that conversation was. I feel repelled by him. I feel disgusted, as if something has changed inside of me. I can't have a person like him in my life. What makes a person refuse all help just out of sheer pride? My wife says I've been patient and kind enough to him throughout the years, and I should let him figure things out on his own. He really is broke. Before his parents cut him off, they were covering his rent/bills, and he survived on $20 a day he claimed to be making from investing in Forex. I know he barely eats and can't even afford a new pair of shoes and some other stuff. I know he's got no money, but then why won't he accept the job? He's not shy, has no mental health issues, has no problem dealing with people. He's refused many other jobs in the past, even jobs related to his degree, computer science. He's got the wrong idea that he should be given higher up positions right from the start because he's him, and that's what he deserves. That's the reason he hasn't worked a single day since graduating like a decade ago. Anyway, I've got to go do some deep thinking and reevaluate this friendship because I don't like the person he's becoming. I mean, shit, I would even say this is just the person he's always been. You're just finally seeing it. His dad is a bus driver and his mother a retired teacher. They are lovely, humble, down-to-earth people. I think they've done the right thing cutting him off. I know they're both struggling financially, so it's not fair for their son to leech off them. His mother even had to go back to work doing some tutoring in order to make some extra money to be able to support my friend. I'd be ashamed if I made my 70-year-old mother go back to work just so I could be sitting at home dreaming of landing the perfect job while actively doing nothing to get one. Anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry, I'm just so mad. My wife says it's time to cut the cord and distance ourselves from him. I think she might be right. Yeah, I think you gotta listen to the wife, bro. Snip, snip, cut him off. It's not worth the energy to have people like this in your life. It's so draining, especially in your 30s. Like, maybe if you're in your 20s, I could see being like, oh, let me help my boy out. But bro, if you're 30, you're too grown to be dealing with this shit. Get him out of here. The guy just wants to be babysat by his friend. No, for real. He wants things that he hasn't worked for. Once again, another video where I could title it r/best of Redditor updates that belong in r/AmITheDevil. Should I do that? Because that video fucking ripped, chat. 58,000 views. Like, that's pretty good for my channel. r/best of stories that belong in r/AmITheDevil part 2. Guys, let me know if you ever think my titles are too much. Like, obviously they gotta be clickable, but I feel like it's always true. My brother poisoned my girlfriend for 3 years. That is very unhinged. I never loved my dog. Okay, maybe out of control is a little clickbaity. All right, I'll say it. Sometimes it's hard to come up with the adjectives. As in, sometimes I just reuse them. I'm not gonna lie. Ethical clickbait? I feel like it's never bait. When you guys click on my shit, there's always some crazy stories. Workplace wants to remove bell at the desk that aids my disability. Posted in r/advice and r/tales from the front desk. Originally posted November 17th, 2024. Before we get into the last story, if this is your second or third video of mine and you're really enjoying them, but you haven't subscribed yet, just would like to remind you to subscribe. It really helps me out. And if this is your first video, you're really enjoying it and you want more videos like this, I have over 140 reading Reddit videos up on my channel. So after this video is done, feel free to head on over there and check those out. I also would like to take this time to present my channel memberships if you guys want to support me and get a couple of extra perks. The first tier is only $2 a month. You get access to all of my emojis, all my members only streams, and you get access to some old videos that I've privated, but I'm going to start allowing only members to be able to see these videos. So this is a vlog that I uploaded 8 years ago. You can see cringy old Sarby if you're really interested in it, but only members have access to the videos. Only the members can see how cringe I used to be. On top of that, I have a $6 a month tier, which gives you early access to my videos. So as soon as they're uploaded and ready to go, I make them live for my members only, as well as any exclusive long form videos that I choose to make for members only. And then I kind of have this bigger $25 month tier that is honestly excessive. There's nothing super extra other than you get a signed photo from me and Beans. So if you're interested in signing up for any of these memberships, all you got to do is click the join button right next to the subscribe button, pick which tier you want and hit join. I want to specify as well, the memberships are not required by any means, but they are greatly appreciated. Thank you guys. Back to the video. I'm a night auditor at a hotel. My job is largely sitting in the back and watching the cameras, printing out papers to store for accounting purposes, and helping guests that arrive in the absolute dead of night. I work from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and generally am completely alone in the building except for security, who is one guy that only mostly shows up for his scheduled shifts. This job has been an absolute slam dunk for me. I struggle in most workplaces due to my blend of disabilities that make waking up on time extremely difficult. Showing up to work at all can be challenging at times, and even when I'm in the workplace, I often struggle to keep up with workloads. Because I'm coming in the dead of night, I don't have to worry about oversleeping, and since my job is just printing some papers and general customer service, I don't have to worry about not being able to handle it. My previous manager encouraged me to bring my Switch into work because it can get extremely boring, and she made it clear that as long as I'm not bothering any guests and am here on time and getting my work done, what I do doesn't really matter. She also mentioned that there's a bell in the dining area that the cooks use, and I can take it to leave up front so guests can easily alert me when they need something and I'm in the back. She left the company about a month ago, and our new front desk manager is an external hire. She sent her first message to the team as a whole about a week ago, and about 70% of the message was her lambasting anyone who uses the bell. She saw my signage that says, "Please ring the bell for service," and wrote that anyone using the bell would be written up for doing so. I have pretty bad ADHD, that being a pretty major part of the typical struggles at work. I'm not always looking at the cameras and can't tell 100% of the time when a guest has arrived at the front desk. While I'd like to get medication to help me treat this, the waiting list is a 1.5 years long just for evaluation. And since I only just got approved for company health insurance, it's still a long ways out for me. Maybe it's silly, but the bell is a huge saving grace for my work performance. It's quiet, distinctive, and immediately lets me know I need to get up and help someone. I've not mentioned that it assists me with my disability to my manager, but I wrote telling her that it's useful for me. Additionally, if I don't have a bell out there for people to ring, there's really only 3 things will go down when a customer arrives. 1, the customer waits until I check the front desk cameras again, which could be a while because, again, memory issues. The customer walks into an employee-only area to look for me, inevitably scaring the shit out of me and looking extremely unprofessional in the process. 3, the customer yells, "Hello?" to try and get someone's attention. None of those scenarios are necessarily ideal. To me, it seems like a much easier solution to simply give customers a way of politely notifying me that they're waiting would be to give them a bell to ring. However, my manager has made it very clear that this simply won't be happening, and I really don't want to get written up. While I could just sit at the front desk, that would make me unable to watch the cameras at all, and additionally, I wouldn't feel safe doing so. The front desk is positioned directly in the front of a massive window, and we're located in a shady part of town. I am certain that I would get people coming in to sexually harass me. It's happened before. I just want to keep the stupid bell. I don't understand why it's such a big deal if it helps me do my work easier, but I don't know how to describe to my manager that a $5 bell I bought off Amazon is an effective disability aid for me without sounding stupid. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think there's anything that like HR can do. If this manager is saying no bell, can they make a disability accommodation argument here? I just don't know. And I also think it might not be good for your career if you really like your job to try to fight your new manager who clearly has a power trip. Like, I don't want OP to comply, but I'm almost wondering if compliance is the right move here in terms of longevity of keeping their job. Maybe there is an argument here for neglecting their disability or not assisting their disability here. I just don't know. Like, my ass, bro, if we're going for some like malicious compliance, my ass is thinking like, okay, they said no bell. Let me get walkie-talkies. That would kind of be fun, low-key. Like, if there was a sign there that said like, please radio me in, you know, like I'd be like, shh, this is Echo 31 at the front desk. Like, that's where my brain goes, guys. Because also OP is here by themselves too. So I feel like the ability to like not get caught is pretty high. Like, I do think they could probably just end up using a bell, and if they're really good about putting the sign up only when they're alone and taking it down right before everyone starts getting there, I feel like they could. But like, also it'd be funny, it's like, okay, it's not a bell, like I set up walkie-talkies, I set one of those like really loud rubber chickens. Like, I'm just thinking as like dumb idiot immature streamer brain, I'm like, me walking in seeing that shit, I'd be like, I fucks with this hotel like that, you know? I mean, there's other solutions too, and you guys might have to educate me on this. I don't know how much of a disability argument that they'll have, or if that's even going to be effective, and if people are going to take that seriously. But like, you could, I don't know, maybe set a 5-minute timer on your phone, maybe 10-minute timer on your phone to just remind you to check the cameras. I genuinely don't know what the right answer is here. I'm just coming up with random solutions that came to the top of my head. Just put the manager's phone number at the desk. That would be hilarious, Marmon. But they could have a sign that just says, call this this number for assistance, and then they could just call the number and it could be like the number for the phone in the back and they could answer it. I feel like that's also a solution. This manager is just ass, bro. When I worked at the desk, we also weren't allowed to have a bell. Dude, if your number one op as a manager is a fucking bell, like, get over yourself. I'd have a gong for them to ring. Bro, I walk into a hotel that has a gong for them to ring for assistance. 5 stars. Immediately. Bell equals lazy? I'll fucking say it. Part of the reason I'm glad I'm not in corporate America is because corporate America is fucking stupid. Can somebody answer my question before I keep going? Is there maybe a good argument for disability accommodation here? It's not if there's no legit diagnosis. OP needs that diagnosis to be able to go to them and be like, hey, this isn't fair to me. Fuck, that sucks. Update 1, titled, might have fucked myself over with the new manager, December 28th, 2024, 41 days since the original post. So I guess I'm kind of looking for help. I think I might have dug myself into a hole here and I really need this job. This is going to be a super long post. Sorry. So I'm a night auditor. I've been at this job for about 6 months now, and this is the longest I've lasted at any job. Working is really difficult for me due to my blend of mental illnesses. So when I landed this gig after accumulating a shit ton of rent debt and cutting ties with my abusive family, I was celebrating like I'd won the lottery. The fact that I get paid to do fuck all most of the time is a goddamn blessing. The previous manager was awesome and trained me how to do everything super fast. She actively encouraged me to bring my laptop or Switch in to play video games during my shift, because otherwise I'd get so bored I'd start bashing my head into a wall. She also told me I could use the bell from the kitchen to put on the front desk for guests to easily get my attention. This had been an absolute godsend regarding my ADHD, and I made a sign to request guests to ring it for me during the dead of night. After only 2 shifts, she said she was confident I could manage my own work, and I've been working alone ever since, with security around a good half the time. Back in September, she left for a different job. Everyone was pretty heartbroken, but of course, we all wished the best for her, and she departed with no issues. There was about 2 months where the front desk was reporting directly to the general manager, who was slowly but surely getting less and less responsive to messages and calls. At one point, I had a guest approach me complaining that their car had been stolen from our parking garage, and despite being told they would get the chance to speak with the GM about the incident, she never showed up. I sent an email to the GM immediately, furious she had not responded to our guests and upset that my repeated calls to her over the last 2 weeks hadn't been acknowledged. I told her she had to come in that day to discuss things with our guests, as they would be checking out the next morning, and I expected to be updated on the situation as it had happened during my shift, and I would like to know how I'm expected to respond to this. I got no response, and she did not arrive at the hotel that day, so I sent an email to HR saying that I was unable to get in touch with her and needed assistance ASAP. That was fortunately able to kick the GM's ass into gear, and the situation was dealt with, though I never got my update. Finally, about a month and a half ago, we got a new front desk manager, who we'll call M. Her introduction to us all felt off-putting. She opened with a standard introduction and then immediately dove into a rant about the bell. She had seen my sign saying to please ring it and went off the handle saying it was ludicrous and absurdly unprofessional. She said she threw the sign out, and should she see a sign like that again, the poster of it would have disciplinary action taken against them. In addition, she's taken away the keyboards for the computers in the back office and making them functionally unusable for everyone else. Fucking why? This is, of course, a dog shit way to introduce yourself to your new employees and a complete power trip to me. A bell is a normal thing to see at a hotel, and putting that aside, it has been an absolute game changer for my disability. I have really bad time blindness and will forget to check the cameras for extended periods of time, and the bell is a good way of immediately getting my attention from whatever I'm doing and getting me to the front desk immediately. From now on, M is going to be Monica, because I hate it when people give letters to names. I decide that Monica will surely understand if I tell her it's a disability aid, so I leave a response to her clarifying as much. I obviously don't tell her the details of my disability, just saying that I can be very forgetful, and the bell makes it easier for the guests to get my attention when I'm in the back office. In addition, I would very much like to use the computers in the back office. Monica says that it doesn't matter, and I'm not allowed to use the bell. I remind her that as a disabled employee, I'm entitled to reasonable accommodation, and she's having none of it. She demands I get a doctor's note for the stupid fucking bell or take it up with the GM. She also neatly dodges any of my requests, asking where the keyboards are or if we can still use the back office computers. She also says if I'm experiencing trouble focusing, I should remove my distractions. This advice is very upsetting to hear, not only because I do not want unwarranted advice on how to manage my medical condition, but also because I know that it is not how my fucking illness works. Could you just not go and pick up a keyboard from Goodwill for $5 and bring it in and take it away when you leave? Like, that's what I would do, low-key. I'd say, fuck this manager. This is maybe where I should have stepped back. I sent an email to the GM explaining that I like to use the bell, and it's a preferable alternative to guests entering employee-only areas to get my attention, and I would like to have it cleared as a disability aid. I also mentioned that I do not want to hear Monica commenting on how I should treat my disability, as she is not qualified to do so. GM seemed to take a very stern tone with her response, demanding to know why I wasn't at the front desk, why I wasn't checking the cameras. The bell has never been allowed, and I'm breaking the rules by using it. Worst of all, she demands to know why I did not mention my disability in the course of my interview. All I'm saying is save that email. This implies that they wouldn't have hired you because of your disability. I smell a lawsuit. This question is fucking shocking. No employee is ever required to disclose their disability to an employer before the job has been offered, unless it makes them unable to perform the job duties. And as the manager, she should know this. I repeat that I am not required to disclose at any time until I make a request for accommodation, and that my disability means that I sometimes forget to check the cameras, and this is not something I am in control of. Additionally, I stress that I have never been told I am required to remain at the front desk for the entirety of my shift. This has never been the case for me, nor anyone else I have worked night audit with. I also CC'd HR to make sure they're hearing all of this as well. HR responds saying if I want accommodations, I'll need a doctor's note, though they do not mention GM's out-of-pocket demands to know why I hadn't disclosed my disability. GM denies that she ever requested I disclose my disability, despite the fact that I have the fucking email sitting in our reply chain just a few days prior. She says that I'm to respect Monica's authority as she has many years of experience in the industry. This is not something I have ever denied, and that I am to remain at the front desk for the entirety of my shift. Respond back to that email and be like, oh, you denied this? Oh, bitch. Literally, this email from you, copy paste. What now? I feel like you should threaten HR. Be like, you guys are actually like disregarding my disability. I'm going to lawyer up and we're gonna have a conversation. HR will kick their ass into gear ASAP, Rocky. Additionally, she says that Monica has claimed I've been hooking my laptop up to the work monitors to play video games. This accusation has come out of nowhere. While I have brought my laptop to work to play games, this is something I was extremely explicitly told was allowed by the previous management, and I have never connected my personal laptop to the work computers. I tell her as much and make sure to stress that I am upset with Monica because she gave me unsolicited advice on how to manage a medical condition she is not qualified to comment on. Her experience as a hotel manager is irrelevant in the specific matter. I also make sure to stress that it is incredibly fucking weird, considering how bad Monica is stressed that she's the manager, that she never approached me about this supposed workplace habit. I would expect her to discuss any issues with my performance with me directly, as that would be the normal thing to do. I've not gotten a response to this email, and it's been 3 weeks since I sent it. I'm honestly not sure what to do now. Did I just completely let my anger about this whole situation fuck me over? Do I get papers from my doctor saying that I'm disabled? If I do that, should I bother with the stupid bell that caused all the bullshit? I still want my fucking bell back, but that's not worth losing my job. I say you go on the offensive. Get the papers and like go to HR and be like, oh, here's specific evidence where the GM and Monica are not supporting my disability that directly reflects your company, and I could press a lawsuit, because that's when HR cares. HR only cares about protecting the company. So if you go after the company will do something for you. I do have to say that probably could also potentially end poorly, but I think that's the move. If you want it to go back to the cushy job that you had before, you gotta go on the offensive or start looking for a new job. Sounding a lot like this person won't have to work at all anymore after getting a lawyer. That's what I'm thinking. The only thing they're missing is the diagnoses and the papers. Oh, hell yeah. Update 2. The title, Taking Away My Bell Got My Manager Fired. Let's fucking go. This is exactly what we needed to end on. Posted January 31st, 2025, 75 days since the original post, 34 days since the last update. I made a post here a while back about my manager taking away the bell I use at the front desk. Long story short, I like using the bell as it's an effective disability aid, and I was originally encouraged to use it. New management came in and said if I was caught using again, disciplinary action would be taken. Told her it was a disability aid. She didn't care. Took the issue to my GM, who began to grill me on why I hadn't disclosed my disability during my interview. Of course, she's not allowed to ask that. Legally, I'm not obligated to disclose, and she's not allowed to ask me to do so during the course of an interview. I CC'd HR in my response explaining as much. However, nothing came, and eventually the situation died down, though I still didn't get my bell back. However, apparently my email got a small investigation cropped up around the GM's behavior. Corporate began sniffing around and found that next to nothing in our hotel was compliant with corporate policy, and bonus money that should have been sent to the front desk staff as a result of positive reviews mentioning them by name never actually made it to the staff. According to a coworker of mine, the GM had to be escorted out of the building. I spoke with the new acting GM about everything, and he said he was excited to meet me because of the multiple glowing reviews he'd read that mentioned me by name. He's interested in equipping me with the skills to begin rising up the management ranks and asked me to expand on things that would make my job easier. Among so many changes he's planning on implementing came my personal favorite bit of news: I got my bell back. We needed the happy ending. Okay, maybe this one doesn't belong in r/AmITheDevil because it ended so beautifully, but I'm gonna title my video that anyways. Okay, we love it. Damn, that's crazy though, bro. Funneling bonus money? Like, we already knew that GM was sketchy as fuck, but who knew she was gonna be that sketchy, bro? We got the bell back. W bell in chat, guys. W bell in chat.